right, FightHype.com here with former two-division champion, the WBA junior welterweight and the WBO former welterweight champion, Jessie Vargas. Jessie, want to ask you to take the fighter's hat off if you can and put on the analyst hat like you've done for HBO in the past and now at DAZN. Who's going to win this fight and why? Canelo Jacobs.
Man, it's really a hard fight to analyze, honestly, because I only want to give my honest opinion, and the thing is that, Jacobs has all the talent in the world. He was the Olympian for a reason, in his time, and he's a champion for a reason, and I think he's one of the fighters that's very underestimated, in his division. He's one of the best right now behind Canelo, and I honestly thought that it was a close fight against Triple G. I think that he pulled out the win, but they didn't give him the decision. I was actually a commentator for that fight. That's just how I see it personally, my personal opinion. And then Canelo Alvarez had a draw and one close win with Triple G as well. So it just shows you that they're evenly matched. I mean, anything can happen. It's a 50-50 fight. And the fighter that I like, I would have to say that I can't pick either or. The fans are going to win that night. They're going to win because they're going to get their money's worth. And on DAZN, which you subscribe, you don't have to pay pay-per-view prices. You just pay monthly fees. And you can cancel at any time. So just subscribe to DAZN. You're going to see a great matchup between Daniel Jacobs, Canelo Alvarez in a unification fight. And then after that, I'm sure the winner will want to pursue a fight against Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade is the only one that carries another belt, which is the WBO belt. Right now, the belts that are at stake is the IBF, who Daniel Jacobs is holding currently. He is the world champion. And Canelo Alvarez is also the world champion, the WBC, the WBA, and the Ring Magazine title. So it's going to be very interesting to find out this fight, how it's going to result.
Canelo was quoted earlier this week. Didn't like it as much when it was brought up, but he said that Mexican fighters have problems with fighters that can move and punch at the same time, use a lot of movement. Do you feel that's been true for Mexican fighters, and what's he got to do on fight night if that's how Jacobs is going to fight him to win?
You know what? We have that's what we're famous for. It's just one style, which is aggressive, overly aggressive sometimes, body punching, head punching, just full throttle going, full force straight forward. That's what Mexican fighters were known as in the past.
Maybe unfairly.
And then every now and then you had Salvador Sanchez,
right.
You had Finito Lopez, Chiquito Gonzalez, who were a little more versatile, but their main ability was just to go forward still. That's when they were at their strongest. So yeah, Mexican fighters are known to just go forward. And now, ever since the past decade, Mexican fighters have changed the way they fight now. Like Canelo Alvarez. Canelo Alvarez is more of a counter puncher. He can be very aggressive as well. In the beginning of his career, he was very aggressive, pushing forward, throwing that left hook to the liver. And, Eddie Reynoso and Chepo have done a good job in transforming him from a fighter, an inside fighter, to just boxer. And now he can do both. Three, actually, counter puncher, boxer. What I mean by boxer, for those of you who don't know, when we use that term, boxer means when we go at a fight going on, we say, he has to outbox his opponent. What we mean by outbox is just uses intelligence, uses distance, uses footwork, several abilities to control the action. That's outboxing an opponent. And they've showed Canelo that. So he's very versatile. So is Daniel Jacobs. It's just about who is able to dig deep, who has the better tactic, what trainer did the best job in training camp. It's just several things that are going to accumulate for this victory to be made for either fighter.
Does Canelo have slow feet, though? Is that something you feel Jacobs could take advantage of on fight night?
He's a heavy fighter. He's not stationary, but he's not fast when it comes to his footwork. He can, and hopefully it's something that they improved on in this fight. That would definitely help him. But if not, there's other ways that one can use, their footwork. Keep in mind Floyd Mayweather. He was extremely fast with his footwork ability. But there came a point in time where he knew he was getting older, and guess what? He just stayed stationary, and all he did was move his waist, counter punch at the precise moments he needed to, and that helped him very much. and then that's being stationary. I mean, remember the fight against Cotto? He didn't use his leg work, you know, and so it's just in boxing. There's so many different things that can benefit a fighter to come out with a victory. You know, we'll see what benefits each fighter come Saturday night, but anything can happen. And, you know, you're in for a real treat on Saturday night.
Because Danny doesn't really run, though. He moves a little bit, but he likes to mix it up himself.
Danny doesn't run. No, he's not one of those fighters. He does like to use the ring. What I mean by that is he likes the space. He likes to control the action. He will shoot his punches when he's ready, not to just defend himself, you know, but he'll shoot them when he sees it fits best and he can prepare different combinations or different punches. That's Daniel Jacobs for you. And he can fight on the inside also. You know, that's very intriguing of a fighter like Daniel, because he's mainly a boxer that fights at his distance. So for him to also be able to fight on the inside, you know, makes him stand out from a lot of other fighters.
It seems like we're kind of overlooking Canelo's defense, especially the last few years. He's gotten a lot better. His movement, he kind of, since he fought Floyd, incorporated some of his shoulder roll even into the way he fights.
Yeah, I mean, he learned a lot. I mean, we as fighters learn a lot from each and every fight, whether, you know, it was a tough fight, easy fight, but we always learn. We learn something from our opponent. We learn something from ourselves. And, you know, the most important thing is for a fighter in every fight is for them to acknowledge what they learned in that fight and to improve it, or just bring it back into the gym and to perfect any flaws, or just, you know, make the corrections that need to be corrected.
How tough is it in there? Because one thing you'll always hear fans yell on their couch, cut the ring off when a guy's moving. And it seems, as great as Canelo is against Lara and Khan, he struggled with that at times. How tough is it to cut the ring off against a guy that really knows how to move?
It's very important. Very important. Not only to stop them on the tracks, but to also connect with big punches. You know, when you cut off the ring, you do it trying to stay in the motion that you're landing the punch also. So, you know, you're like putting a mouse in a trap, and then you're also trying to smack it, trying to kill it. You know what I mean?
When you fought Saddam Ali?
Yeah, perfect example. You know, we put him into the corner and we set up a trap, and the minute that he was being fooled by the trap, you go in for the kill. You know, and I think that's what every fighter should try to do. You know, and especially at this level. That's what I was able to change in my last fight as well. Is with Freddie, he reminded me how important it was to set punches up for the later rounds. You know, just set traps here, set traps there, and eventually capitalize on them.